don't think offense is the problem. I've always said this, it's our defensive end. I think anybody can score on us. Whoever it is, anybody can score on us. Whew. Luka also said that he misses former teammate Jalen Brunson, quote, a lot. Shannon, what do you read into Luka's latest comments?
He ain't lied. He told the truth. And some people are like, wow, that's taking a shot. He ain't taking no shot at Kyrie. They're 30th in rebounds, dead last. 30th in offensive rebound, dead last. 30th in second chance points, dead last. 30th in points in the paints, dead last. 29th in steals, next to last. 29th in fast break points, next to last. 28th in blocks, 2 spots from above being last. How you skip? I mean, they take turns. He and Kyrie take turns going 30, 40. And guess what? The other team put 9 guys in double figures. And you can't overcome that. Do we miss Jalen Brunson? Yes. Yes. Because Jalen Brunson was a better fit for Luka than Kyrie. Kyrie is a better player, but Jalen Brunson is a better fit. And seemed like Mark Cuban was going for the best player. Mark Cuban had made up in his mind, Jalen Brunson is not a $100 million man. It's as simple as that, Skip. He's not that. Well, you're coming to find out, yeah, actually he is. And he fit really well with Luka. And Luka really liked playing with him. And you're finding out the hard way, you've got to stop going outside your house to try to find somebody that you already have inside the house.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson was, Skip, he got drafted in the second round. You watched him grow up. You see what he became. But Mark Cuban did not believe Jalen Brunson was that good of a player. He says he's only playing this good because he's in a contract year. Well, lo and behold, he looked like he underpaid in New York. So everything Luka said, when he said, I knew everybody was going to take out, this was going to explode, when he said, you miss Jalen Brunson a lot. He taking no shot at Kyrie. Kyrie, like you said, the offense is not their problem. Kyrie isn't their issue. Nobody thought that when they traded for Kyrie, they was getting prime Kawhi Leonard, a two-way player that could give you high 20s, 30s, but can lock it down on the other end also. They don't stop anybody. So you got 2 of the worst defenders, 2 of the best offensive players, Skip, 2 of the worst defenders on the same team. You tell me what you think is going to happen, especially if one or both of those guys are struggling on the offensive end, and they ain't going to ever struggle they struggle every game on the defensive end. You tell me what you think is going to happen. What's happening?
Okay. I read this. I interpreted this way, way different than has been presented. I want to point out that Luka almost never in his time in Dallas has spoken after a practice. Always after games, almost always, but rarely after a practice. He wanted to speak, and he wanted to speak out. The first issue that he wanted to get off the table was this whole concept, this speculation, this report that he would shut it down. He wasn't speaking for Kyrie, just for Luka.
For himself.
He said, as long as we have a chance, and they still have a chance because Oklahoma City did lose last night in the fourth quarter, obviously got blown out at Golden State. Well, Dallas sits there just a game back of the last slot in the play-in, right?
Yep.
So he's trying to make it clear we got 3 games left, and I'm pretty sure all 3
all of it home,
right?
Sacramento, Chicago, and the Spurs.
Okay, and you're getting Sacramento off its back-to-back winning at New Orleans, but they're back-to-back, so you should have some advantage tonight over Sacramento. Then who's next? It's
Chicago.
Chicago.
On Friday.
Can be tricky. They've been a very good road team of late, but then you get the Spurs, right? Okay, you got a shot. You could conceivably win all 3 of those games, and you conceivably could be the last team in the back door.
Yeah.
In LeBron's point of view, LeBron doesn't want to be the last team in the back door because it's beneath what he's achieved. He's now the greatest scorer in the history of the game. That's not cool for LeBron to be considered the final team in the back door of the play-in, right?
Player too. I know you keep throwing that out there. You need to put some spec on the man's name. He's the greatest player and the greatest scorer in NBA history. You keep throwing that caveat. He's the greatest scorer. He's the greatest scorer. He's the greatest player. Now, I'm not going to let you keep sliding with that, Skip.
You sound like those Lakers who are going, they're doing sheep things. They're not doing goats, they're doing sheep.
You think you slick. You keep saying he's the greatest scorer. He's the greatest scorer.
Yeah. Well, he's the greatest scorer.
Player that happened to score the most points.
He is the phony goat. I will give you that.
Whatever.
All right, back to Luka. So he wants to show everybody, hey, I'm still playing. And then he wants to make 2 or really 3 other very powerful points to me. Mm-hmm. He was asked about Jalen Brunson. Do you miss him? And he says, I watched it. So you watch his sort of body language and his facial language. He says, oh, he's kind of chuckling like, like, are you kidding?
Right.
A lot, he says. I mean, amazing guy, amazing player for sure. They were pretty good friends by all accounts.
Right.
So he misses the camaraderie,
Right.
just having him in the locker room, just having him on the road with him, maybe getting an occasional dinner together, sitting by maybe on the plane. I don't know. It's just somebody he could vibe with and talk to and sort of trust. He could definitely trust him on the floor. Then he was asked about what their chemistry is. And he wasn't asked directly about Kyrie. He just says, I don't think you see that chemistry we had before. He says, I mean, especially last year. Well, I made the point. With basically the same guts of the team, I get it, no Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a defender, but still, the basic guts of the team still there.
Right.
And you beat Utah in, 5 games, or maybe it's 6 games, and then you knock off the defending Western Conference champions by winning a Game 7 at Phoenix, 123-90. Were you playing some defense last year? Yeah, you were. Did you have chemistry last year? Well, he and Jalen did, to your point. I don't know why. They just fit. Jalen's a weird star in that his ego is low. He got raised to play exactly the right way by his father, who's now an assistant on that New York staff. He will go along for the ride when it's time to go along for the ride. And if Luka looks to him like, I need you, you can trust him because he can get you a bucket because he is a bucket getter.
Right.
Well, now New York needs him just about every possession to make something happen.
You see, Skip, it wasn't like Phoenix adding Kevin Durant, who doesn't need the ball.
No.
Kyrie needs the ball.
Okay, they
Luka
do.
needs the ball.
Absolutely.
So KD can take 13 shots and get you 28 points. He can take 25, he can take 20 shots and get you 50 points.
Okay.
Well, Kyrie, the likelihood of Kyrie just having 13 shots and getting you 30, that's not what he is. He's not that. He's an efficient player. He has a layup package. He's good from the 3, mid, and at the bucket and the free throw, Skip. But they're different players.
Yeah.
Luka ain't no off-the-ball player. Luka needs the ball. He's not a 2. He's a point. He needs the ball. Kyrie needs the ball. Well, you only got 1.
Okay. So the last line of his little media session yesterday was, I'm the leader of this team. And then he went on to say, the one to blame is me. But the key words are, I'm the leader of this team.
He told me.
Because he wants to make it clear, this is my team.
It is.
You came to play for my team.
Yes.
I told you, the moment Kyrie walked in the locker room door and their eyes met, there's this, am I the guy or are you the guy? Well, Kyrie has won a ring.
Right.
He did make a big shot in a Game 7. He's played at a very high level for a very long time, has arguably the greatest handle in the history of the game.
Right.
He is Uncle Drew. Well, in his mind, he's thinking, I'm a little better than you are. I'm definitely more proven. I've done more than you have done. And Luke is looking back at him as their eyes lock. You have to understand, this is my basketball team.
Well, I think the thing is that Lucas said, no, I've gone farther as a leader than you have.
Yes.
You've gone far as the second best player. I've taken a team to the Western Conference Finals as the best player. And so he's looking at him, he's looking at Kyrie. I'm the captain.
Okay. I still believe Luka is still upset with the fact that Mark Cuban, in Luka's eyes, brought in Kyrie to be the closer. I'm going to throw it at you one more time. Fourth quarters and overtimes they have played together so far. Kyrie's taken 92 shots to Luka's 48 shots. 92 to 48. Luka was the preseason MVP. Luka, I'm sure, would tell you on a lie detector, because Kyrie's been playing all 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
And Luka played like 7, sometimes 8. He played 8 against Atlanta because he needed to. He knew it.
Right.
But the point is, I think that's a little pouty. I think it's Luka saying, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to do what I always do. But when he comes in, he constantly has deferred to Kyrie because even in the minutes they played together, Kyrie is taking considerably more shots. What does that tell you? It's wrong. It's actually shameful because you can't treat the leader of the team and the preseason MVP like those numbers are treating him in the fourth quarters and overtime.
Well, if that's the case, Skip, Luka's going to have to probably sit. Is going to probably have to sit the last 3-4 minutes of the fourth quarter.
The third quarter.
The third quarter, and then start the fourth quarter. Because if you start the fourth quarter on the bench, Skip, and you come in at 5 minutes, Kyrie's already gotten at least 3 shots up.
And he had been, except for De'Aaron, it's just slightly ahead of him.
Right.
But listen, I'm not doubting Kyrie in the fourth quarter because he can fill it up.
Yes.
And when he gets cooking, to your point, it's hard for Luka to come in at the 6-minute mark.
Sometimes, Skip, he's already at 8 points.
Yeah.
And Luka's like, well, I'm not going to interrupt this groove because you know what's going to happen. Kyrie gets it going. Now, all of a sudden, Luka interjects himself, and Kyrie's like, well, Kyrie had it going, and then Luka, blah, blah, blah. So, look, Luka is in a no-win situation because people see Kyrie come in, another great player comes in, and you automatically think you're going to take off, a la Kevin Durant. But there are levels to this. Kyrie is a great player in his own right, but Kevin Durant is a transcendent.
He's a transcendent player.
There's generational, then there's transcendent.
I got it. And that's well said. All your defensive stats are spot on, but the point is, whatever the reason is, once you paired up Kyrie and Luka, they went from the 4 seed to the 11 seed.
Yes.
Well, it's not working.
But, Skip, if you look at it, Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith are better fits for.
I agree with that.
For Luka.
I got it.
Finney-Smith is going to defend.
So we agree on one point. This is on Mark.
Transcendent.
I got it. And that's well said. All your defensive stats are spot on. But the point is, whatever the reason is, once you paired up Kyrie and Luka, they went from the 4 seed to the 11 seed.
Yes.
Well, it's not working.
But, Skip, if you look at it, Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith are better fits for.
I agree with that.
For Luka.
I got it.
Finney-Smith is going to defend.
So we agree on one point. This is on Mark Cuban.
Oh, absolutely.
And you want to talk about
yeah, Cuban should play for it.
Maybe he'll coach like Jerry.
If the Mavs don't even make the play-in, guys, it'll be interesting to see if there are some major offseason moves and shakeups. All right, Joel Embiid, gentlemen, not only is he winning the MVP battle, but is he making a statement for best player on the planet?
No.
And what do you think about that MVP race? Let's talk about that when we come back.